Have you ever noticed how the kindest souls, the most empathetic people, often end up in the most painful relationships? It's almost like a magnet, pulling them towards partners who drain them, devalue them, and leave them hollow. It's not random, it's psychological. There's a hidden, powerful dynamic at play, a tragic dance between two wounded souls, the empath and the narcissist. Why does this attraction happen? And why is it so incredibly hard to break? The answer lies deep within their childhoods, in the very way their hearts and minds were wired for connection. Stay till the end, because once you understand this, you'll start to see people completely differently. To understand the empath, we must go back to their beginning. Often, they grew up in an environment where their emotional needs were neglected. They became hyper-attuned to the moods of their caregivers, learning to anticipate conflict and soothe tension before it exploded. Their nervous system became tuned for survival, not serenity. They learned that their value was tied to how much they could give, how much they could please, and how well they could take care of others. They learned to overgive love to earn peace. As adults, this translates into a deep, unconscious craving for a partner they can finally fix or save, someone who will finally give them the unconditional love they never received. They seek someone who feels familiar, even if that familiarity is chaos. And that's exactly what a narcissist provides in the beginning, the illusion of safety after the storm. Now let's look at the narcissist. Many people think of them as purely evil, but their behavior also stems from a deep childhood wound. The narcissist often experienced a different kind of trauma, one where their authentic self was rejected. They were either excessively praised for achievements, creating a sense of entitlement, or harshly criticized for their flaws, leading to profound shame. In response, they build a false self, a mask of superiority, confidence, and charm to protect a deeply wounded inner child who feels worthless and unlovable. This false self needs constant validation to survive. They crave admiration the way the empath craves connection. The narcissist is not looking for a partner. They are looking for a source of praise, attention, and emotional supply to fill the emptiness inside them. They don't see the empath as a person, but as a mirror reflecting the grand, perfect image they so desperately need to believe in. When these two meet, the chemistry is electric, but it's not the chemistry of love. It's the chemistry of trauma. The narcissist showers the empath with intense affection, a phenomenon known as love bombing. For the empath, this feels like everything they've ever wanted. They feel seen, cherished, and finally safe. But this idealization phase is just a strategy. Once the empath is hooked, the narcissist begins to devalue them. The praise turns to criticism, the affection to coldness. This creates a devastating cycle. Every time the narcissist pulls away, the empath works harder to win back their affection, reenacting their childhood pattern of earning love. Every cycle of idealization, devaluation, and reconciliation triggers dopamine and cortisol. It becomes addictive, a trauma bond. The empath's brain gets hooked on the intermittent rewards, confusing the intensity of the cycle with the depth of the connection. They feed on the empath's hope like oxygen. This is where the empath's greatest strength, their compassion, becomes their biggest vulnerability. They see the narcissist's wounded inner child beneath the abusive facade and believe they can heal it with enough love. That's the rescuer complex, born from childhood roles where love was earned, not given. The empath thinks, if I can just love them enough, they will change. If I can just be patient enough, they will heal. They pour all their energy into trying to fix a person who is fundamentally invested in not being fixed, because the narcissist's false self depends on a lack of self-awareness. But healing someone who refuses to heal isn't compassion. It's self-abandonment. Each attempt to save the narcissist is another act of abandoning their own needs, their own boundaries, and their own well-being. The body always keeps the score. Eventually, the empath's body starts to revolt. It can't sustain the constant stress of walking on eggshells, the emotional highs and lows, and the profound loneliness of being with someone who doesn't truly see them. This manifests as chronic fatigue, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and a deep emotional numbness. The light in their eyes starts to dim. The constant giving with nothing in return leaves their own wellspring completely dry. And that's where awakening begins. It often starts with a quiet, undeniable recognition. This isn't love. This is slowly killing me. This breaking point is not a failure. It is a profound moment of self-preservation. The empath learns that setting boundaries doesn't make them cold. It makes them powerful. They realize that true compassion must include themselves. Healing from this dynamic is a journey back to the self. It's not about hating the narcissist. It's about understanding the pattern and reclaiming your power. The first step is to name the pattern. Recognize it for what it is. A trauma bond, not a once-in-a-lifetime love. The second step is to rewire the narrative. Understand that you are not broken, and their inability to love you is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their own wound. And the third, most crucial step is to rebuild safety within your own body. This means learning to set and enforce boundaries, reconnecting with your own needs, and giving yourself the unconditional love you always tried to give away. Because empathy is your gift, but empathy without boundaries becomes a wound. Subscribe to the Psycho Nurse, where healing meets truth. Until next time, protect your peace and guard your empathy like gold.